Now, I'd like to start off by explaining that I am familiar with the history of the Maga movement. I know it started off as the Tea Party movement and was hijacked and branded by Donald Trump. So the fact that Donald Trump is now leading the movement does not really mean he's the one that founded it from the grassroots. He was just the one who was charismatic enough to motivate, move it forward. So that being said, years ago when Barack Obama was elected, I was a liberal. I supported abortion. I supported. I was way more tolerant to the LGBTQ community than I was right now. Right now, I just think they're a bunch of tyrannical. I don't even think it's the dudes that are actually leading it. I think it's the lesbians who are really the brain of the LGBT movement, and it's now geared towards just tearing down the the heterosexual structure in the Western world. If you notice TikTok, if you go on TikTok, all you see is the stuff you would never see in China. And this is not this is not to agree with Andrew Schultz or anything. It's just to come to the actualization that if you say anything offensive on TikTok, TikTok will block you about the stuff they don't care about in China. And that's very ironic. But the issue I'm here to talk about is the fact that MAGA, Team MAGA, has to remain focused and rebuild the West. We have to make the rest, even though I'm not a Christian believer, we have to make the rest, but we have to make the rest acknowledge and cherish its Christian culture, minus all the scamming of the pastors and all this, all sorts of shenanigans. You see, years ago, I also realized that the rhetoric, we're now in the era of the rhetorical wars. And rhetoric, the meaning of rhetoric is something said over and over until it becomes like somewhat believed to be true. And one of those rhetoric I realized was becoming predominant into the narrative was that America is the most racist country to exist. Now the thing about this is that I had the epiphany over the years, and I have now come to the realization that even though this rhetoric has propagated itself into the mainstream narrative for so long, America is still the only place a black man I know of where a black man can have his own bank. America is the only place in the world where I know Soldier Boy could be a millionaire. Once you dedicate yourself to something, even if it's foolishness like rap music, you will be successful and you will have someone pay you for your product. That being said, Team MAGA has to now realize that the most important resource is in America is not Venezuelan oil, is not Chinese investments, and is not feeling sorry for the rest of the world, the empathy for the rest of the world. The most important resource in America is its people. And it has to learn how to tap into the equity of its people, you know, and the people have always been what made America prosperous and great. When you think about America, anything you think about, you can think about the people behind it. Whether it's homemaking and Martha Stewart, or it's industrialism and Henry Ford, or just arts and Whitney Houston. There's always a great American to associate with almost anything. And that is what America has to really focus on now. Re-tapping into his people. Because I don't think the robots can be as great as the people. But in this era where labor is no longer connected to capital, we are in for a very interesting phenomenon in that any leader elected, especially post-Trump, must be one who will tap into the resource of the people. And with that short life, with that I end this short life. I don't even know what to end the life. I'm so